Hi everyone, my name is Luke, and in today's video, we'll be doing a quick overview of the Elementor Page Builder, the world's leading WordPress website builder, what it is, and why you should use it, whether you're building a personal website or a sophisticated agency website for a client. Let's go. So the first thing we want to do in today's video is we just want to do a brief overview of the Elementor Page Builder. So Elementor, as it says, is a WordPress website builder. What this allows you to do is, as you can see in this animation that's been playing, it allows you to make quick and easy front-end changes to your website. Now, what do I mean by front-end? Front-end changes are what you're watching here. You'll be able to look at the website on your screen in your computer, and you're able to make changes easily and quickly by just editing the content directly from the screen. Anybody who's familiar with WordPress up to this point knows that all the way up until this point in WordPress's history, you've really had to go back and forth between what we call the back end of WordPress, which is what you see here, and then the front end of your website, which might look something like this. And if you made changes and you wanted to see them change, you would have to keep flipping back and forth between the back end and the front end of WordPress. So in this video, as we go over Elementor, we really just want to talk about the basics of what it is. We won't do an in-depth tutorial about how to build a website. We'll definitely do that later on. But what we would like to do is just to show the overview of what you can do with Elementor. So just to get started, Elementor, as we mentioned, is a front-end page builder. It's an all-in-one solution, as they explain here. And it really is good if you are just wanting to build a basic website, and we'll show you a free one, an example today, all the way up to whether you would like to build complicated, you can see here, developer-friendly, very sophisticated sites for clients like we do at my agency that I run. So there's lots of modules that you can use as a part of the Elementor builder. And these modules allow you to make changes, add new content, do all kinds of great things to your Elementor website. So let's kind of jump in and look at what it would look like to build a website for a software company. And by doing that, look at the basics of what Elementor looks like and how we can add elements to the page and edit them and do all kinds of great things with Elementor. Okay, so here we are in the back end of WordPress. So we're logged into our WordPress website, and we're going to go ahead and just get an Elementor starter theme installed. Again, we're just overviewing the basics of Elementor, but we thought the best way to show it, because a lot of you might be starting with a theme and not starting from scratch, would be to use a basic starter theme for Elementor. So one of the ways that we're going to do that, and there's multiple ways to do that, we're just going to show you one, is by installing what's called Astra starter themes. So if we go to plugins and then we go to add new, I'm just going to go ahead and search for Astra starter themes. So you can do this on any WordPress website. And the plugin we want right here is called Starter Templates from Astra. So Astra is this company here, and they have all different themes. You can actually use themes from different builders that are available for WordPress. Beaver Builder, Brizy, and Gutenberg are three other builders that are available to build. But today we're focused on Elementor. And we're going to install the theme that looks like this. It's a software theme, and we're going to show you the basics of how Elementor works. But we wanted to make sure we showed you how we got there first. So if we go back to our back end of WordPress here, we're going to go to Starter Templates, and we're just going to go ahead and install this template and activate it. And once we do that, we'll see a message up here that says Ready Starter Templates here. So in Astra, easy to do here. Since we're focused on Elementor here, we'll go ahead and just select Elementor as our page builder. What this is going to do is going to show us a bunch of themes that we can choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here until we find our software theme. Here it is here. So I can go ahead and just select it, and you can see it's one of the free basic themes. And I'm just going to hit this button down at the bottom that says Import Complete Site. So what that's going to do is it's going to import the home page along with the multiple interior pages as well. I'm going to get cool other pages like these pricing tables and all kinds of great stuff. So if I hit Import Complete Site, they're just going to ask me a few quick questions here. So let's say we're a beginner and we're building for ourselves. Let's hit next, put in your name and your email, and we'll submit and start importing. You can also skip that step if you want. So what this is going to do is it's going to do multiple things for us. It's actually going to install the theme for us. which it already did successfully, it's also going to install Elementor for us, which is pretty great because we don't have to install Elementor from scratch, which takes a little bit of extra time. So you can see here, if we go back to our plugins database, you can see here that we have Elementor installed for us now as a part of that setup. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at what our website looks like now that we have the theme installed. And here we go, easy as that. We have our whole entire site installed here for us with Elementor built as well. So we have multiple pages to flip between that we can see here, including those really nifty pricing plans and all kinds of good stuff. So our whole site has been imported for us here, which is wonderful. Okay, so now let's go over the basics of what Elementor looks like to work with as a page builder. So let's say that you've now got this installed and now you want to go ahead and you want to make changes to it. So one of the first things that Elementor is going to allow you to do is make changes to existing content on the front end of the website very easily. So if I'm on this page, you'll see here what I can do is I can go ahead and just hover over this little message in the top bar that says Edit with Elementor. Easy enough from this page, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that. And what that's going to do is it's going to take me into Elementor's Builder interface. What I mean by Builder interface is now I'm looking at the front end of my website, but I also have the module panel on the left here. And in the Elements module panel, there are multiple things that I can do. The module panel is split up into a couple different sections, but you'll see here the basic elements are right here, and these are the basic elements that come with Elementor. And then you can also see that there are Pro elements. So Pro elements are elements that come along with what's called Elementor Pro, which we'll quickly review at the end of this video. So Elementor Pro allows us to do some more fancy things with our website. So if we're building a website for a client, maybe you're an agency owner and you're building for a client and you're looking at Elementor as a possibility, you can use these Pro features if you sign up for Pro that lets you add advanced things to your website. And then we have some other widgets as well that are added by our theme. So some of the themes actually that get installed have pre-built Elementor widgets that come along with them as well. So you can see here we have all these different sections of modules here on the left. The first thing we'll look at though is how to make quick changes in Elementor. So let's say that I actually have a mobile app that I want to build this website for, but I'd rather change this headline to say something else. It's as easy as simply clicking inside the box, which I did here, and then I can either make my changes here or I can make them right here in this title box. So let's say we want to say keep on track, but we want to say reach your fitness goal today. All we have to do is edit this box and type in the word today, and there we have the word today. Also, I can adjust font sizes of the change. So let's say that just adding that word, as you can see, made this a little bit tall. So what I can easily do is go over into my styling panel over here under style, and I can go under typography and I can adjust the size of my font. So if I just grab this slider, and you can see all I have to do is slide it back and forth, and that's going to adjust the size of the font. Let's say that actually I like that the best because it doesn't wrap, and it lets everything get a little bit shorter, pulls everything up and keeps everything a little bit more tidy. So all I have to do then, once I make that change, is hit update, and now my text is a little bit smaller. The other cool things that you can do editing content with Elementor would be to change buttons. So we can change the style of the button or what it says. So on the content here on the button, let's say we want to say get started here instead. So we can say get started, which is pretty cool. We can also change the link of the button. So let's say that we want this to go to Google, which we wouldn't do, but let's say just for example, we want that to go to Google. And let's say also while we're here, we want to change this button to be a little bit more in your face. And so we want to change the style of it. So what we can do to change the style of the button is we can look at the color of the background or the color of the button, and we can take this slider and we can move it around to be something maybe a little bit brighter, or maybe we like that gray. White actually sticks out pretty well on this, so we might leave it, but whatever color we wanted to change it to, we actually can go through the whole range of colors and change that button to whatever we think is going to make sense. All right, so we can change that button color very easily from this little panel over here. Once we're done making our changes, we can go ahead and update, and now our changes are immediately pushed live to the internet, which is pretty amazing. This is an image here, so we can say we can easily just go ahead and choose an image from our media library, and we could replace that image with something else. So we could put another image in there instead of that one. These are social icons. The other thing we can do that's pretty cool is, let's say that we decided that we didn't have any logos that were impressive to show, or anybody that's using the app that we wanted to impress people with, or we haven't been featured on any TV shows. We can actually just delete whole sections. So we can go ahead in the editing panel here in our modules and rows, and we can go ahead and just hit this X, and there goes that section completely. So it's completely gone. One really cool feature in Elementor is, let's say that that was a mistake and we didn't want to delete that section. We can actually just hit, I'm on a Mac, we can hit Command Z on our keyboard, and there it comes right back for us. So if you make mistakes, you've got a nice safety net there to stop yourself from making any big mistakes that are going to cost you anything. You can also move sections around. So let's say that we thought that one of these sections was more important than the other. We can go ahead and take this little section here and just grab it and drag it wherever we think it would look better on the theme. So that actually went right back to where it was. So let's say we move it up here, this entire section, and we drop it in. There, put it down here at the bottom. And of course that wouldn't look great there, but just showing that we can go ahead and move sections around if we wanted to do that to make things more important or less important than the other. We can also take sections and we can add things to entire sections like padding and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and click on this section, and let's go in the styling panel, in the advanced panel, and we can see we have bottom padding on the, bottom margin on the bottom of this whole section. But let's say that we wanted to give this a little bit space down below this mobile phone here. So what we can do is we can actually go into our padding panel here, and we can add, let's say, 50 pixels of padding on top. There we go. Now we have some space between that and the section above it. So that's how you would edit in Elementor. And again, it's as quick as just hitting the green update button, and now we're live on the front end of our website. Okay, so we can actually go and view the front end of our website, all the edits we've made. We made this content here smaller, and we messed around this button. We left it the same color. And then we added this little section up here underneath the bottom of this app here. So we can see here that we made that change as well, and everything's live on the front end, which is amazing that we can do those things. Let's also say though, that we wanted to go ahead actually and add a form onto our site here, because we say, hey, we probably should have a form of some kind on the homepage so that somebody can, contact us or whatever if they want to. If they, what we call a call to action at the agency is something that we would build into a website. So we have several options as to how we can add new content to a website that's not already there using Elementor. So first of all, we've shown you how to edit, but the other great thing as an overview of what you can do with Elementor is you can actually add content to the page content that's already there. So once we have that image in there, we can go ahead and just select what image we want to use. And of course, this isn't going to look great because we're just kind of adding this ad hoc, but that's an easy way to add that image in there. So let's go ahead and just delete that. Okay, so let's say that we wanted to add a form to the bottom of our website. One of the great things about Elementor is that we can also add content to a website very quickly and easily that's not there. So this is great if you're building a website and you don't see a section that you want to use. So what we can do is we can come over here into the Elements tab in Elementor, and there is a WP Forms, which is a specific plugin, but the cool thing is that this comes along with the starter theme that we're using. We can go ahead and drag this form on, and then it lets us select a form, and the form we're going to use that they include with the theme is a newsletter sign up form. So this newsletter form is actually going to let us sign people up on our newsletter, as well as collecting the email address from the person. So not just getting their email address, but it's going to let us, put a form in here that's going to let them subscribe to our newsletter. The other thing you'll notice is the cool thing about starting with the theme is that as we added this element on, the design and styling of the form matches the rest of our theme. You can see the button and the colors on the button are the same, and the form fields are the same, and they match the style of the rest of our theme as well. If we wanted to go ahead and add a little bit of spacing there, again, we can go to our section, go to advanced, add a little bit of padding on top to give it a little bit of space. And there we can see we have a little bit of space and a newsletter form. We can also copy sections and move them around. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just duplicate this section here. And since we don't need both, we can go ahead and drag this down into above this section. And then you can see here we have our thing, but it's white. So all we have to do is come in here, and let's say we just want to make it a different color. Maybe a bluish color that's going to match what's going on in our theme, like a royal blue. Perfect. And then we can just update, and then we'll see when we refresh on the front end of our website that our form is there along with our statement. So it's really cool to see that in Elementor, not only can we make changes to our existing website, which already looks great, but we can also add new content to our website as well. So those are the two main advantages you're going to get with Elementor. You're starting with a starter theme that you can use in Elementor, but you can not only easily make changes to your website, but you can also easily add content to your website very, very quickly. So this helps with things like if you're just starting out with a personal site, you can just add a new section in case you had a new team member start or in case you made changes to your website. Or for you agency owners out there, you can use Elementor to quickly make changes for your clients on the website. So let's say that they call in a tizzy one day and they have a big emergency happening. It's very easy to go in and make those changes to your Elementor website. Okay, so the last thing that we want to look at when we're looking at a basic overview of Elementor is what Elementor offers in their Pro license. So the Elementor Pro license is basically like Elementor on steroids. So if Elementor is a superpower for your website, Elementor Pro is a superpower for Elementor. It really allows you to do some very sophisticated things with the Elementor page builder. Now, here's where I'll talk a little bit about the agency that I run and when we build sites for clients, because Elementor Pro is a great tool if you are either an advanced or sophisticated user of Elementor and wanting to build some pretty visually amazing or sophisticated things for Elementor, or if you're an agency owner or a freelancer and you are building sites for clients. Elementor Pro is a must. Elementor Pro has some amazing features that you're only going to get in the Pro license. So just to be clear, Elementor Basic is free and you can install it just like you saw earlier in the video on your website, and there's a freely available themes that you can use if you're just building a basic site for yourself. But if you want to get fancy and advanced with things, Elementor Pro is what you're going to want to do. So Elementor Pro has lots of different features, and we're here on the Elementor features page that come with it. So a lot of the basic features do come with Elementor, and if we look at the difference in widgets between the two, you can see here all of these basic elements are going to come with the basic version of Elementor that's free. Here's your Pro elements that are going to come along with Elementor Pro. So of course you're going to pay for Elementor Pro, but what you're getting is well worth the cost. There's lots and lots of features that are built in here, and I wanted to just run through a couple of them and talk about how we use them at the agency in our client websites. And if you're an advanced freelancer and you're really building a lot of sites, Elementor Pro is a very powerful tool as well. So one of the features that we use when we build sites for the agency is the PopUp Builder. So this is just in general, this is a way that you can build pop-ups that are going to pop up in across the whole screen or up from the bottom. It's a great marketing tool that you can use to build pop-ups for your clients. It's great for them to have a marketing tool on their website. So you can see there's all different kinds you can build here with Elementor. You can have menu triggers, you can have advanced triggers that come out, shopping cart pop-ups, have a button trigger a pop-up, it can pop up from the bottom, all different kinds of things. This is a wonderful marketing tool. The next one we'll look at is WooCommerce. So if any of you guys out here that are building WooCommerce websites, which we do plenty of at Bandicoot at our agency, you can use Elementor Pro to really style every part of your WooCommerce website. So this is a whole different video that we'll do eventually, but the power of Elementor Pro and the WooCommerce Builder is amazing as well. And it really lets you easily go in and build a really fancy WooCommerce website, to be honest, with lots of different features that you can use in WooCommerce. And it lets you pretty much take almost every part of your WooCommerce website and style it or add things above and below. So even upsells, you can get fancy with all kinds of different things that you can do in Elementor Pro with that. The other thing that you can do with Elementor Pro is you can do a unique global header and footer. So the global header and footer is this theme builder that Elementor allows you to use. The theme builder allows you to put in a global header and a global footer that you would only change once, and then that change gets made all the way across the whole site. And on the back end of our website here, you'll see that we actually went ahead and installed Elementor Pro. And when we do, we get our theme builder option here. So this option here is not in the Elementor free version. So you're looking at just the Pro version of Elementor. So the Pro version of Elementor lets you add header, footer, a single post or a single page template, Cool things about that is you can build global sections that go across all different single posts or pages that are used across your entire website. And then also just dealing with the header and footer. So for instance, in this theme that we were just looking at earlier in the video, the header and footer editing is a little bit wonky. It's a little bit hard to deal with. You actually have to go into the customizer, which is kind of like an old area of the WordPress experience. And you can deal with this customizer setting here, and you go into these kind of older customizer settings here. So it's a little bit older and kind of not outdated, but it's a little bit harder to deal with. You can see here, it's almost like a new interface to learn and how you're going to do this. But with Elementor Pro, you can actually build a very nice, just from scratch Elementor header and footer that you can use. We're actually building a website right now as we speak at the agency where we're doing a custom Elementor build for the client from the ground up, and you can use a custom header and footer across the whole site, which is very powerful. Motion effects is another thing that's going to come with Elementor Pro. You see these cool little animations that you build that you see on some of the fancier websites, like Apple's website is famous for this, where things animate in as you scroll down. So you can see how you can put motion effects in and some really fancy animations in Elementor Pro. You can build forms visually. This is another great thing with Elementor Pro. You can take a form, and not only can you have a native form to Elementor, which means you can add a form to your website that's powered by Elementor, but you can also style it right there on the screen, which is great and a very powerful feature as well. Not to get into a lot of weeds on Elementor Pro, but some of the other really fancy things you can do if you add a third plugin called CrocoBlock, which we also added a link to below here in YouTube. CrocoBlock actually is going to be even more of a great combination to use along with Elementor Pro. And we also use CrocoBlock at our agency to build websites as well. So CrocoBlock is going to provide some really powerful, awesome additional things. Of course, also a paid tool, but just another thing that you can do with CrocoBlock. You can build all kinds of booking websites. You can also build pop-ups here. They also let you do WooCommerce. You can add advanced search elements. You can add blocks. You can you can create an appointment website. All kinds of really awesome, amazing things when you get into CrocoBlock, which is a whole nother thing. But just to show you the power of what you can do with Elementor Pro, these are some of the amazing things that you can do. So if you're really serious and you're doing more than just a simple website for yourself, it's a very, very good thing to consider going with Elementor Pro. Now let me talk a little bit about the pricing for Elementor Pro, because as mentioned, of course, it is a paid tool. So we'll take a look at the pricing here and the packages that they offer. So Elementor Pro does a great job of offering you all kinds of different packages here. They recently changed their pricing back in March of 2021 and added some higher end packages for some of you guys out there that might run some large agencies. So you can see here that the packages that they offer all the way from one website. If you are a user that wants to do some advanced things with your website, it's going to increase the amount of widgets you get and the amount of templates you can do and install on your website, all the way up to an agency plan, which you can use on up to 1,000 websites. So my agency is on the agency plan. And what we use that for is using the Elementor Pro elements on every single client website that we build on Elementor. It's an amazing thing, and we use it across the board on almost all of our custom sites that we build, because Elementor is an amazing builder for clients to be able to use to easily make changes to their website, and it's not a steep learning curve. But even on the essential plan, you're looking at $49 a year, which is really not a lot of money to spend on your website if you're looking at your website as an asset that's going to make you money rather than an expense or just something that you need. Advanced plan is going to be three websites, expert up to 25, studio, and then agency, of course, 100 and 1,000. So you're not going to be using the studio and agency plans unless you're a more sophisticated user or you're building a lot of websites for clients and really using it as a business. But any one of these plans is really going to superpower your use of Elementor on your Elementor website. So the last thing we'll talk about in our overview of Elementor and the basics of how you use it for your website is hosting. So we usually recommend two approaches to hosting. One approach to website hosting, and by the way, if you're not familiar with what website hosting is, it's a place to host the files of your website on the internet. Everybody needs a web host, and so if you're going to use WordPress, you're definitely going to need a web host. We usually like to split it into two recommendations. If you're just building a very basic website, or you're just trying out this website thing to see if you want to build a website for yourself, we recommend Hostinger. Hostinger is a very, very cost-effective website host to use. You're going to be on a shared host with lots and lots of other users of their websites. But if you're just trying things out or you really want to see how this website thing goes, Hostinger is a good host. They have quality customer support for you to use. And for most basic website things, Hostinger is going to be a great play. They have different plans that you can use for your hosting. They have a specific WordPress hosting plan that you can do. As you can see, it's very cost effective. So you can quickly and easily sign up for Hostinger and be hosting your WordPress website like you saw us work on in this video in no time. So if you're just doing basic website stuff and you maybe only have one or a handful of websites to use and do or work on, Hostinger is a really good cost effective host. If you're serious about building websites and you're building multiple sites or you're doing it as an agency like we do at Bandicoot, our recommendation is WP Engine. WP Engine is really the cream of the crop when it comes to WordPress hosting. WP Engine is going to be top notch in everything from site speed all the way up to really important things at your agency that you may run to build websites, like security, which is an awesome thing. And then really the quality of your neighbors that are on your hosting plan. So WP Engine is going to be really good managed WordPress hosting. It's really good out of the box performance. Their customer support is out of this world. It's really, really amazing. We're on a pretty high end plan with WP Engine and we absolutely love their customer support. They take really good care of us. And so the WP Engine plans are definitely going to be more expensive. There's lots of other features that come along with it. We won't, bore you in the video to look at it, but the WP Engine plans are going to start with your discount that you're going to get from WP Venture here of about 10% off your first payment there. It's going to run you about $22 a month for one site. The extra cost, if you're really serious about what you're doing with websites, is well worth it to go with WP Engine. All it takes is for one website, and a lot of us have already had this happen to us in our lives, to get hacked before you realize that the extra cost of using a quality WordPress website host is an absolute no-brainer. But we do realize here at WP Venture that there may be some of you that the $22 a month just doesn't make sense. And in that case, Hostinger is a good option. But if you are really serious about what you're doing with your website and you're building multiple sites, or definitely if you're building them for clients, WP Engine is a wonderful, wonderful system to work with. So we strongly recommend the WP Engine hosting to use for your WordPress website. So there's two options there, cost-effective option in Hostinger and a little bit more expensive option to use in WP Engine for hosting your WordPress website. Whether you're building just a simple site just for yourself or you're building sites for your agency, Elementor and Elementor Pro are wonderful options for you. We hope this website has been helpful and enjoyable. If it was, please help us out by giving a like on the content, subscribe on the channel, and make sure to hit that bell to be notified when we put out our new content. We'll be launching regular, brand new content across all different kinds of topics for our channel. So we would love to hear from you. Let us know what you think in the comments about Elementor, and if you have any questions, we'll do our absolute best to get back to you and help out with those things. Thanks for watching this video. Have an awesome day.